Donald Trump's plan is to do what he did last time, which was give another massive tax cut to billionaires and big corporations. And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good because it was my economy.
Donald Trump has spent years trying to cast himself as the ultimate outsider.
Donald Trump has long tried to present himself as the outsider, a businessman smarter than politicians who bends the rules to his will. But when Barack Obama goes after him, that image falls apart quickly. Obama doesn't just criticize, he breaks Trump down piece by piece, exposing a man who craves attention, avoids responsibility, and dreads being compared to others. It's less of a debate and more of a takedown, with Trump's hidden flaws turning into the very weapons Obama uses against him.
He called himself the father of IVF. I do not know what that means. You do not either. He said January 6th was a day of love. Do not boo, vote. It made January 6th sound like it was Woodstock.
Donald Trump has always painted himself as the great disruptor, the man who stormed into Washington to drain the swamp, shake up the system, and challenge career politicians. But when Barack Obama takes the stage, that image crumbles faster than one of Trump's failed casinos. Obama doesn't just poke fun, he calmly takes Trump apart, and that composure makes it sting even more. The contrast is striking. One side, a former president defined by intellect, discipline, and poise. The other, a man obsessed with crowd sizes, spreading conspiracy theories, and turning the presidency into a reality show. The takedown almost writes itself.
Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them, between the real Americans, who of course support him, and the outsiders who don't. And he wants you to think that you'll be richer and safer if you will just give him the power to put those other people back in their place.
Obama's approach is powerful because it's quiet and precise. He doesn't shout, wave his arms, or rely on catchphrases. Instead, he cuts through Trump with calm accuracy, striking exactly where the weaknesses are. Trump thrives in chaos, he loves shouting matches, insults, and non-stop noise. But when faced with Obama's steady composure, he looks completely out of place, like someone cramming the wrong notes for a test written in another language. Trump can handle a brawl, but he can't withstand being effortlessly outclassed.
Do you think Donald Trump ever changed the diaper? Yeah. I almost said that, but I decided I shouldn't say it.
What makes this takedown so satisfying is the history behind it. Trump spent years fixated on Obama, pushing the birther conspiracy not as strategy, but as a desperate attempt to undermine someone who embodied everything he couldn't match. Back then, Obama didn't need to answer, his silence spoke louder than Trump's noise. But now, when he finally steps in and takes Trump apart directly, it feels like the long-awaited karmic payoff the world has been waiting to see.
You would be worried if your grandpa was acting like this. No, I'm not joking. You would, right? You'd call up your cousins and you say, "Have you noticed?" So imagine it coming from a guy who wants to be given unchecked power.
Trump built his image as the larger-than-life deal-maker, the master player who always wins. But Obama's roast pops that bubble with ease. He doesn't just poke fun at Trump's ego, he reveals how fragile it really is. Trump can't let anything go, whether it's a comedian's jab, a journalist's critique, or a bad poll. His instinct is always to fire back louder, angrier, and digging himself deeper. Obama, by contrast, thrives on restraint, Next to him, Trump looks like a man, fighting shadows, flailing and sweating, while Obama simply watches, calmly pointing out how ridiculous it all seems.
It is one of the oldest tricks in politics. From a guy whose act has, let's face it, gotten pretty stale. We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
The comparison Trump dreads most is legacy. Obama's time in office, no matter where you stand politically, is remembered for stability, dignity, and global respect. He carried himself with a statesman's presence that even critics acknowledged. Looked presidential. Trump, on the other hand, turned press briefings into reality TV rants and international summits into awkward skits. His White House was a revolving door of staff who rarely lasted a year. His record shows bankrupt businesses, a failed university, endless lawsuits, and a pandemic response that often felt like late-night comedy. Next to that, Obama doesn't even need to roast. Simply pointing to the evidence is enough, like holding up receipts in a fraud trial. The failures speak for themselves.
If you will just give him the power to put those other people back in their place. It is one of the oldest tricks in politics. From a guy whose act has, let's face it, gotten pretty stale. We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
What cuts deepest is that Trump has always chased what Obama naturally has respect. Not the cheers of his base or the flattery of yes men, but genuine recognition as smart, admired, and truly presidential. Yet he can't buy it, fake it, or force it into being. Obama enters a room and commands respect effortlessly, while Trump barges in demanding attention but never earning it. Obama undermines him not only with sharp words, but by embodying everything Trump has always wanted yet failed to achieve. The contrast is stark. Obama's calm leadership versus Trump's scandals, from hush money to constant leaks of chaos. From his own staff, his White House often felt more like tabloid drama than a seat of power. So when Obama calls it out, it sticks because everyone already knows it's true. Trump thrives on turmoil, Obama on composure, and that reality makes the roast undeniable.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala.
Even
On the world stage, the contrast is brutal. Obama spoke at global summits with measured words and patience, earning respect even in tough moments. Trump scolded allies over payments, like a landlord chasing rent, and threatened trade wars in Twitter rants. Obama's calm presence made him look presidential, while Trump's bluster made him seem like a reality show contestant. Obama doesn't even need to try. His very existence proves the presidency can still carry dignity instead of chaos. And the sharpest blow is personal. The self-proclaimed tough guy reduced to whining about late-night jokes and TV ratings. The man who promised endless victories now remembered mostly for defeats he can't explain away. Obama never needs to get nasty. The facts sink Trump on their own.
And I think we became a little bit complacent over the years. We assumed that things would continue to get better, that our democracy would become more inclusive, that it would become more fair, that we'd make it easier for people to vote rather than harder for people to vote, that the votes would be counted rather than suppressed. And what we forgot is that history doesn't always move in a straight line, and it's not always 2 steps forward and another 2 steps forward. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward and a step back. And we're in a moment right now where not just gerrymandering, but efforts at voter suppression, efforts at questioning the results of elections, efforts at the executive branch unilaterally doing things.
What makes it hit so hard is that Trump simply can't handle it. He can spar with comedians, lash out at reporters, and sling insults at rivals, but Obama is different. He's the one opponent Trump has never managed to land a solid blow against. Every attack has backfired. The birther stunt made him look desperate. The crowd size obsession made him look small. And every comparison only widened the gap between them. When Obama roasts Trump, it's more than a jab, it's a reminder that Trump spent years stuck in Obama's shadow and never found a way out. For him, it's the nightmare that never ends. Each time Obama shows up, speaks, or even gets mentioned, Trump is forced to face the truth he hates most. He will never measure up. He may still shout the loudest, but when Obama steps in, all that noise collapses into silence, leaving only the ruins of a man trapped by his own reflection.
President, what we have always needed was someone who represents the very best of us.
Is he at home eating a Trump steak, tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel? What's he doing?
We want someone who seems better than us. I think we got that with Obama.
I just have two more words to say. Obama out.
When they represent the United States of America, they represent as good as what we have to offer.
That's the thing about Trump, he's always been hooked on the appearance of power, not the reality of leadership. Obama knows this better than anyone, having spent 8 years actually governing while Trump played boss on TV, firing celebrities and calling it decision-making. When Obama calls him out, he highlights the gap between pretending to run an empire and actually running a country that doesn't pause for commercial breaks. Trump's idea of leadership was feeding his base with rants about enemies before heading off to golf. Obama shrugs at that self-pity, reminding people that scrutiny is part of the job. If Trump struggled with basic questions from reporters, how could he possibly handle a real crisis? Even Trump's supposed stronghold, the economy, crumbles under Obama's critique. He points out that Trump didn't build the growth he bragged about. He inherited it, riding the momentum of an economy already recovering because Obama's administration had pulled it out of the Great Recession.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes. America's ready for a new chapter. America's ready for a better story. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
By the time Trump took office, the economy was already on track. But instead of guiding it responsibly, he treated it like a casino when handing out tax cuts to the wealthy, bragging about stock market highs, and pretending everyday workers were suddenly thriving. Obama tears through that illusion by pointing out what most people already knew. Wages stayed flat, jobs kept vanishing, and Trump's working class revolution was really just another payout for corporations. The chaos he brought wasn't bold innovation, it was reckless unpredictability. Allies were confused, rivals grew bolder, and Americans were left wondering if their president was tweeting policy between cheeseburgers. On foreign policy, Obama cuts even deeper. Trump sold himself as the ultimate deal maker, but when you look closer, what real deals did he actually deliver?
That was Obama.
Nah, I'm just kidding. You know I've got to talk about Trump.
Obama was this brilliant lawyer. He was so smooth.
Though I am a little hurt that he's not here tonight. We had so much fun the last time.
He was so measured.
And it is surprising. You got a room full of reporters, celebrities, cameras, and he says no.
And the way he would talk about things was so statesman-like.
Is this dinner too tacky for the Donald? What could he possibly be doing instead?
He cozied up to dictators, alienated allies, and walked away.
Trump cozied up to dictators, pushed away allies, and ditched international agreements without offering replacements. Obama points out the obvious posing with Kim Jong-un wasn't diplomacy, it was just a photo op. Meanwhile, America's global, respect sank, and rivals like Russia and China played Trump with ease. The man who bragged about being tough was consistently outsmarted because he chased headlines instead of strategy. Obama's sharpest blows target Trump's character. He flaunted wealth while drowning in debt, pretended at competence while running a chaotic administration, and spun lies that unraveled the moment they were pulled on. Obama also exposes the grift. The final verdict is damning. Trump wasn't a builder at all, but a wrecking crew. He tore down norms, broke trust, and left others to clean up the mess. He didn't drain the swamp, he stocked it with cronies, family, and lobbyists. He didn't unite Americans, he drove them further apart. And instead of lifting America's reputation, he dragged it lower.